It's important to recognize that this language is not simply crude.
Right.
It's a form of violence that contributes to a culture of objectification and harassment.
For example, he writes, "My porn dude instincts tell me this redacted has a redacted. I'd love to prove this fact for myself." This is a prime example of the objectifying language that permeates these communities.
It's all about reducing her to body parts and fulfilling some kind of fantasy.
It's not about Emma Watson as a person.
Not at all.
And then it gets even more explicit.
Oh, geez.
He goes on to say, "If you really want to prove yourself, Emma, you'll do the nasty to me."
That's just so wrong.
Here's where it crosses the line into a direct threat.
Right.
It's no longer just a fantasy. It's a statement of intent to harm.
And it's so casual.
It's chilling to think that this kind of language is so casually thrown around online.
And this article is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
This represents a larger culture of misogyny and objectification
It's pervasive.
that thrives in certain corners of the internet.
What's truly heartbreaking is that despite the severity and pervasiveness of this harassment,
Yeah.
Emma Watson has remained silent on the issue.
That's really sad.
We don't know if it's out of fear, a desire to avoid giving these individuals more attention,
All right.
or something else entirely.
It's impossible to know her reasons.
Yeah.
But it's crucial to understand that silence does not equal consent.
Of course not.
Victims of online harassment often face complex and difficult choices when it comes to speaking out.
Right.
There's the fear of retaliation, the potential for further abuse,
Yeah.
and the emotional toll of reliving these experiences publicly.
It's a lose-lose situation and a tragic reality of the online world we live in.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just awful.
It is.
So it's just heartbreaking.
It is. It really raises the question, like, why are these harmful online behaviors allowed to persist?
Yeah.
And more importantly, what can be done to protect individuals like Emma Watson from this kind of exploitation?
Yeah, it's hard to even imagine what she must be going through.
I know.
To have your image, your likeness twisted and manipulated in such horrific ways.
Right.
And to feel powerless to stop it.
The psychological impact of this kind of harassment can be devastating.
Yeah.
It's a violation of privacy, dignity, autonomy on like a fundamental level.
Right.
And it can be incredibly difficult to cope with, especially when the abuse is so public and persistent.
And the fact that she's remained silent about it just adds another layer of complexity to the whole situation.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what does that silence mean?
Right.
Is it self-preservation fear, or is there something else going on entirely?
We can only speculate about her reasons, but it's important not to interpret her silence as acceptance or condoning the behavior.
Right.
Victims often respond to trauma in different ways, and there's no right or wrong way to cope with something like this.
This whole situation is a stark reminder that behind the usernames and avatars,
Right.
behind the screens and the digital facades,
Yeah.
there are real people with real lives and real feelings.
Exactly. And the impact of these actions can have very real-world consequences,
Yeah.
affecting their mental health, their relationships, even their careers.
It's easy to get caught up in the shock value of these stories,
Yeah.
but it's crucial to remember the human cost.
Yeah.
This isn't just about celebrity gossip or internet drama. It's about real people being harmed.
And it brings up some really important questions about the ethics of deepfake technology as a whole. Yeah.
While it has the potential for creative and even beneficial applications,
Right.
it also poses a significant threat when used for malicious purposes.
It's like any powerful tool. It can be
Exactly.
used for good or evil.
Right.
And in this case, we're seeing the very dark side of that potential.
This case also highlights the urgent need for better legal frameworks and more platform accountability to address online harassment,
Right.
especially in the age of deepfakes.
We need to hold these individuals accountable for their actions, and we need social media platforms to take a more proactive role in preventing and removing this harmful content.
Absolutely. We need a multifaceted approach that combines legal deterrence, technological solutions, and most importantly, a cultural shift that rejects this kind of behavior.
Maybe, just maybe, if we shine a light on this darkness, if we talk about it openly and honestly,
Yeah.
we can start to create a world where people like Emma Watson don't have to suffer in silence.
I think that's a powerful sentiment. Silence only empowers abusers by raising awareness, by having these conversations.
We can challenge the culture of impunity that allows this harassment to flourish.
So if there's one thing you take away from this deep dive, let it be this.
Okay.
Online harassment is real. It's harmful, and it's not okay. We all have a role to play in stopping it.
And remember, the reason we're discussing this disturbing content isn't to sensationalize it, but to expose the severity of the problem and encourage action.
Exactly. This isn't about entertainment. It's about awareness and change.
And for you, the listener, we leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What can you do to combat online harassment in your own digital sphere? How can you be an advocate for those who are being targeted and silenced?
It's a challenging question, but one that deserves our attention and action.
And on that note, we're going to shift gears a bit. We spent a lot of time focusing on the negative aspects of this story, the harassment, the exploitation.
Right.
But we also want to take a moment to acknowledge Emma Watson herself.
Right. It's important to remember that she's not just a victim. She's a talented actress, a passionate advocate for gender equality, and an inspiring role model for countless people around the world.
Absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in the negativity, but let's not forget her contributions beyond the world of celebrity.
Right.
She's a strong, intelligent woman who has used her platform to speak out against injustice and fight for a better world.
And you know what? I really hope that after all this time, she'll find the strength and support to finally speak out about this deepfake nightmare she's been living through.
It would be incredibly powerful if she did.
Yeah.
Speaking out about these experiences can be incredibly difficult, but it can also be incredibly empowering, both for the individual and for others who have gone through similar trauma.
By sharing her story, she could potentially help countless other victims find their voice and seek justice. And imagine the impact it could have on those online communities that perpetuate this kind of abuse.
Absolutely. By publicly acknowledging the issue and condemning the behavior, she could send a clear message that this kind of harassment is unacceptable and will not be tolerated.
It could be a catalyst for real change, both online and offline.
And while we wait and hope for that day to come, let's all do our part to create a world where individuals feel safe and supported to speak their truth without fear of judgment or retaliation.
You know, it's tough. We've been talking about this dark side of the internet.
Yeah.
But Emma Watson, she's achieved so much. It feels wrong to just focus on the awful things people are doing with her image. She's a real person who's accomplished incredible things.
It's important to hold both of those thoughts in mind, right? The reality of the harm being done and the fact that Emma Watson is this talented actress, this passionate advocate, or role model to so many.
She's not just a victim, she's a survivor and someone who uses her platform to fight for what's right. Honestly, part of me hopes that by bringing all this to light, maybe it'll give her the strength to speak out about this whole deep fake nightmare herself.
It would be incredibly powerful if she did. It's not an easy decision for anyone who's been through this kind of harassment, but speaking out can be a way of reclaiming your story and your power.
Think about it. Her voice could reach so many people. It could help other victims find their own voice, and it could send a message to those online communities that this behavior is absolutely not okay.
Exactly. It could be a turning point in the conversation, a chance to shift the narrative and start holding people accountable for this kind of louse.
It might be a long shot, but I'm holding out hope that someday she'll feel safe and supported enough to share her experience.
And in the meantime, it's up to all of us to be more mindful of our own online behavior, to challenge harmful content when we see it, and to support those who are being targeted.
It's a collective effort.
Yeah.
We can't just sit back and hope things will change on their own. We all have a role to play in creating a safer and more respectful online environment.
Well said. So on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. It's been heavy, but it's been an important conversation to have.
Absolutely. Remember, knowledge is power. By understanding these issues, by talking about them, by refusing to stay silent, we can start to make a difference.
Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and most importantly, stay kind.
For more episodes of the Petty Farm Pucky Pest podcast with Chip and Ripple. That was the second episode of the Petty Farm Pucky Pest podcast. Major thank yous for watching this episode, and we are out. See you soon and goodbye.